Yes, I do.
All right. So this week's code topic is drive safely, defensively, and courteously. Ben, do you have anything to add?
Don't let them go. Let them win. It's okay. We'll get there
Yeah.
safely and on time.
Come on. All right. We've had 163 days without a recordable injury. So keep it up. We're doing good there. It seems like we haven't had one in a while, so that's good. And 10 days without first aid. So, good job. Nothing happened this week. One thing I wanted to bring up is everyone should remember to wear their high vis around the yard, especially this time of year where it's dark in the morning and it's a little colder, so people throw out sweatshirts and coats and things like that. And they're used to wearing their high vis t-shirts, but you can't wear those when it's cold out. So make sure you have a vest on or something like that.
It's hard to see people in the yard in the morning.
Yes. So this week, I want to talk a bit about cut in between hazards. It's one of the top, if not the top hazard we encounter in our work. You look around, it's everywhere. So, as I was putting this slideshow together, I couldn't really find a picture where I was like, yeah, there's cut in between hazards there. So, I picked out a few here. So, what came to my mind quickly was the drill crews and the drill rigs. There's a lot of moving parts and, a lot of places that, you can get your hand caught, your body, an appendage, things like that. That drill rod that rotates, you can get caught on that little burr, can catch a piece of loose clothing or something like that. So, the mulcher here, that thing is when it's running, it's spinning. And it doesn't have the greatest guarding on it. You got to make sure when you engage that clutch that you don't have a glove or a piece of loose clothing that can get caught in any of those moving parts. The mechanics, when they're working on equipment, things like that, make sure it's turned off, it's locked out, nothing's moving or can move. I think in the past we've had trouble with stuff getting caught in a salter auger, and someone trying to get that out, and it hurt the hand. It hurt the hand. So make sure things locked out and tagged out when they need to be. Again, stay away from equipment. Stay at the swing radius of equipment. Just make sure you're not putting yourself in the position where you can get hurt. Don't put yourself between the excavator bucket and a trash box. Things like that. Be aware. Think about that hydraulics. They can fail. Things like that. So don't be getting under a bucket of a excavator or something like that, because things do happen. Hydraulics fail all the time, and if the wrong hose fails, it can come down on you. So wear your seatbelt. No one expects equipment to tip over, but if you're not wearing your seatbelt and you get launched off that piece of equipment when it tips, it can roll over right onto you. So you want to stay confined to that roll cage. So wear your seatbelt. We see it a lot. People forget to wear it, or they're just not wearing it, but you don't expect to have an accident or rollover, so it's good to keep that in mind. Secure materials, even if you're just moving something, from one pile to another with a forklift or something, make sure it's secured, because as I showed you that video a couple weeks ago about the man lifts, all that leverage, that force gets translated out to the load. So if you hit a small bump, it may feel small to you, but that load is really going to bounce. And then with paving, things like that, make sure you're not getting in between the truck and the paver when they're backing up. And also, there's a lot of moving parts on there as well that you want to keep your hands out of and away from. So, like I said, this is one of the most common incidents on our job sites. Just look around, at any site and you can find something. So just want to make people aware of that and just think about these things. So that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Austin. A couple things come to mind. One is on the drilling, the hazards of the drill when the driller is 1,000 feet away from where the guys are hooking up their attachments and their reamers and pipe, and having to communicate is obviously a concern there, and there should be pretty clear direction and confirmation of the directions between the parties. And let's see, there was something else. Oh yeah, on the hydraulic failure is very good point. They do fail. We've occasionally had some heavy equipment, some excavators primarily, that act strangely at sometimes. Maybe they get metal filings in the pumps and things get a little bit wacky. If that's the case, make sure you report that to the mechanics, and they will address it, hopefully. And we've had to retire equipment because of that problem too, so be aware. All right, I'll take over the screen.
Michael Colby would always say, stay out of harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty obvious sometimes where harm's way is.
Right. Yep. Let's see, I gotta pull up my screen. There we go. This should, oops. Guess I didn't really open up my screen properly. I'm going to full screen. Did it change to full screen, or do I have to exit out?
We see your email right now.
Okay, let me exit out. Then I'll open it again on full screen. Got to set it up properly. There's that full screen.
Yeah, that's your email now. Yeah, yep. The actual email. Yep.
Right. Yep. Okay.
You can still see your Outlook at the top, but that's okay.
Yep. We're good now, right?
Yep.
Okay. Scroll down. No announcements this week. And there is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Support the cause with ECI swag. Got my pink on this morning. And it's October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So check out the t-shirts and sweatshirts available from Sarah. $10 each, and all the proceeds go to the UVM Cancer Foundation. So a good local cause for the Cancer Foundation provides obviously treatment, but also research and also support for families to some level. So a good cause and local. Below that, we have the ECI Primary Care Wellness Program. And then the Middlebury Resource Recovery Center is our project of the week. Ronnie, you out there? Or anybody who was involved in the job? I'm going to read through here and we'll get some commentary, hopefully, as we get to the pictures. So ECI is subcontracted with...
You need another pallet of soup, right?
What's that?
Nothing. Go ahead, Ken.
Oh, okay. Sorry. ECI is subcontracted with PC Construction for the structural concrete on this new biodigester treatment facility in Middlebury. It's called the MRRC, for the Middlebury Resource Recovery Center. Will be a merchant facility, meaning that it's for business, I guess. Designed for both piped in and truck feedstocks. Cheese waste from Agamart Cabot, cheddar, a whey plant, local brewery waste and byproducts from distilling hard cider and kombucha tea production will be digested. The plant will generate over 1 megawatt of electricity for the Vermont grid and will eliminate 278 tanker trucks each year. So it's down near the wastewater plant for the town of Middlebury. And if you've been in that area, you know there's breweries, there's a cider mill, there's Agamark, there's a lot of generators of this waste material that would used to go or still goes and will be diverted to the biodigester once the digester is done to reduce the loading on that wastewater plant and creates electricity. The waste for breweries and all of the cider mills and everything and whey plants are highly potent, so they're hard for the wastewater plants to process efficiently. And there's a concentration in that area. So the project included 850 cubic yards of concrete and 233,000 pounds of rebar, ranging from number 4 to number 9 bar. And here's a list of the structures on the project. There was a control building with footing walls, slab on grade, mezzanine deck slab, 2 flow equalization tank slabs with grade beam under slabs, and flare foundation for a tank slab. So, Ronnie, what do you consider a flare foundation?
It's just a pad for another small tank to sit on.
Oh, the flare, the burn off.
Yeah, the burn off. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. I thought it was special foundation type that I didn't know about. So there's also 3 15-inch tri-brid reactor tank slabs with 2 radius grade beams under the slab, and generator power skid slabs, and 4 equipment slabs in varying size. So some of the challenges in the project was setting the grade ring for the metal tanks, tying the rebar to the tank slabs, and dealing with plans that were changing by the week. The building slab had 4 trench drains to set, along with 30-foot long 10-inch C channels to set the slab for dumpsters to ride on. The bioreactor tanks are 48-foot diameter and 50-foot tall. The flow equalization tanks are 17-foot diameter and 33-foot tall. Let's see if I can advance here. So this is a rendering from the owners, and actually I didn't even put the owner in there, but it's on the tank there. Purpose Energy is the owner. We're working for PC Construction as a subcontractor. And I meant to put them in there, but Purpose Energy kind of developed the project and is sponsoring the project and will operate and maintain it afterwards. They obviously made it look like a barn with these tanks in the back that we helped build. And the floor plan for the building is pretty straightforward with some complex features inside. So there's the trench drains, there's 4 of them. One was split into 2, so we have 4. There's some internal tanks and piers and quite a bit to it, wasn't it, Ronnie?
Yes, there's a lot to it, Ken. A lot in the slabs, especially with them C channels, kind of hanging in midair. And then we did the trench drains and everything. So a lot of pitches. It was quite a bit to it.
Yeah, it started out pretty simple, I see. The key is to keep it simple, right? Break it down into simple steps.
Yeah, and that's all the start of the building. We started the building first.
Yep. Pretty good sized walls for a foundation. There we go.
That was another one of the challenges, Ken, was that when we bid this job, the walls were supposed to all have been like 4 foot. And then just before we got started there, they came out with new drawings and they had all these 6-foot walls and just a lot of different heights that we had to deal with.
Right. So this is the slab with some of the trench drains set, ready for
and then the guys are drilling right there. You can see right beside the rebar on each side. That's where the C channels are going to go. So they're putting in the rods to hold the C channels in place. Cause we basically did 2 rods every probably like 3 feet. And then we put a piece of little channel iron, like an angle iron from rod to rod, set the C channel on it. And then we put another one on the top to hold it in place.
This is kind of a mud slab with some structural parts to it, right? Because
Yeah,
it's
correct. We did the mud slabs underneath the trench drains, set the drains, and then we filled in underneath them so that way we didn't have a big thick area when we poured the slab with different different
right.
thicknesses.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, and here's some of your walls completed. I'd probably put these out of order. So it looks like there was a bunch of penetrations there, or no, those, what are those
Yeah,
spots?
you can see where we left like pieces of the wall out so they could run all their piping. And in the far back right corner, you can see where they built it up. Now we got to put a footing and wall back in there once they had all the pipes in place.
Yeah, it's quite a few pipes.
Yeah.
So here's the plan. Oops, I go a little too far. So the 3 main tanks and multiple other tanks. And the building is that square footprint on the middle lower left side. Oops, going a little too fast here. So these are some of the smaller tanks.
Yep. Yeah, we couldn't do the we couldn't use our panels for these because it was just too small of a radius. So we built these forms in place. And then, even that drawing that you just showed, there's only 2 of these smaller tanks, not 3. And then they
Okay,
joined them together. You can kind of see like the outline uh on the outside of the mud mat there, kind of like how it joins the 2 tanks together. So we did that with 4-foot panels. So that way we had our edge form already left on.
I see. And this is the start of one of the major tanks, right? Or not?
Yep, that's the mud mats for the it looks like that's the second tank.
Okay,
Looks like we already did in the back here. That's one of the grade beams for the first big tank, and this is the second big tank because it has the 2 rings. There's an inner ring that's grade beams, and then the outer grade beam.
they get to practice on the first one.
Yeah,
Okay.
by the third one we're doing really well.
I'll bet, yeah.
It's just a picture of some of the rebar in the grade beams.
Yep. I always like rebar pictures, close-ups, a lot of dimensions and clearances, and then this looks like a flower garden, tulips.
Yeah, so this is the grade beam. This is the inner grade beam, and then you can see a little bit of the outer grade beam. So it was quite an interesting job, doing these grade beams and then stripping this off. They come in backfill, and then we form up again for the slabs that sit on top of these grade beams. And the rebar was just crazy, tying that rebar in these. And we have all of our caps on too.
Yeah.
Nice touch.
Right, looks like a little flower garden. And then that steel ring.
Yeah, this ring, Pizza Galley kind of took charge of the ring, and we supplied manpower to help set it. They were getting basically take a couple of days to set one of the rings. And on the big tanks, there was actually 2 rings. There's 1 tank inside of the other tank.
That's
So it's
double
quite a bit to
containment
set
tank.
that and grade it. And that's the start of some of the rebar on the middle ring, we call it. You have an inner ring, that's the smaller tank, and then the other part is the outer ring. So we call this the middle piece. That's just the bottom rebar, and you can see it gets pretty complicated as the more you put in there and the tighter it gets.
Right.
Yeah, and the biggest challenge was for the rebar was they had number 8 bar, and it was all standard hooks. A standard hook, we learned really fast that a standard hook is a 1'2", and the slab's only 1'3". So you could see the challenges of trying to lay them hooks sideways and tilt them, and it was a tough thing to do.
Yeah. And this picture shows,
So that shows the 2 small tanks.
Yep.
And then we got the first big tank, second big tank, and then the third one is, you can't see, it's on the right-hand side.
but this also shows, I mean, this rebar is just for the last tank then.
Yeah, correct.
And this shows how you had to break everything down and organize to build it and put the rebar in.
Yes, there's a lot of different sizes, lengths, especially them little U-bars, because the tanks, they weren't round like they show. You see it round there, but then you can see the outline of the rebar. That's the outer part of the tank. So it was like an octagon with some bump outs. So
Right.
there's a lot of different size U-bars that you had to kind of place in there.
Yeah, we
It
got
was
some
a
better
challenge.
pictures of that coming up. But this is where they get kind of merged together.
Correct. That was the last. That's the last tank. Our last actual
Last
pour
pour.
on the tank.
On the outer part, yeah.
Yep, on the outer part, you can see how they join together. So you
Yeah.
can just imagine all them U-bars are being different lengths trying to tie them in there.
Right, there's this perspective that shows the flat edges there.
That's Ryan making sure that I was brooming straight.
Yep, checking Ronnie's quality control here, whereas
He
making
definitely
sure he's
was.
squared off. Someone has to keep track of Ronnie.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. That was a cool job, and it certainly was complex with a lot of planning and organization to get that done.
Yeah, and the guys did a great job on it.
They did an excellent job. So here from the photo archives, this is December of 2013, almost 10 years ago, at the Waterbury wastewater treatment plant expansion. A little bit more straightforward for these boxes, these cells we were building back then. So that's what I got. Thank you, Ronnie. I'll turn it back over to Matt and Austin.
All right, thanks. Awesome job out there in Middlebury. If you're watching a group setting, please send over attendance so you can capture it. Let's have a safe day. Let's have a great day.
Okay, take care.